Thank you. Who next? The final presentation here is how you would obtain a quote if you are not currently in the volunteer program.
Thank you. So how to obtain a quote. I know you guys are all eager to find that out. Before I start though, I just wanted to say thank you for the questions. The ones who don't ask the questions are really the ones I worry about, because insurance is not easy. Like Joanne said, you look at your insurance agreement. Oh, they're going to cover me for this. Well, you find back in the policy, not really. So there's a lot of things that come up. I'm always available. Call me. And if I get the same question 2 or 3 times, that's something important. So we make that a frequently asked question, and we put that up on the website. And speaking of the website, the insurance department has been working really hard to get all of our lines of insurance up there, so that it's a resource for you guys. You can just, I have a question about insurance. Boom, you can zip to the SORM website, put in the search engine, volunteer, auto, D&O, directors of office, whatever it is, and it brings you to the page. It gives you a brief outline of what the insurance is, how to get the insurance, what forms you need to complete. They're all clickable links. So hopefully they're all clickable links when you go there to get that information. And then our frequently asked questions at the bottom. So maybe you don't want to call me. That's okay. Just go to the website, take a look at those frequently asked questions. Joanne covered a lot of them today. So we're going to get those up to the website. The other thing is, this is your resource. If you go to the website and you think, well, gosh, I was looking for this information. Why isn't that on here? Let me know. Somebody made a really great suggestion the other day. They like to see a timeline of what's going to happen when. And I thought, gosh, why didn't I think of that? Because I like to see what's coming up. Everything I have is calendared out. And so it was very timely, because volunteer insurance applications are getting out. You guys need to know. That'll be up there. How long do you have to come back in? That'll be up there. So I'm going to work on getting that timeline up there for you so that you can see what's going on. So I want you guys to use that resource when you have any questions. Anyway, so let's talk about how to obtain a quote. And again, this is no obligation. We're doing, your cost-benefit analysis. What is it worth to you? And so we're going to go through this a little bit. How to obtain a quote. Complete the SORM's volunteer insurance application, which, handy dandy enough, is right on the website. And this is how simple it is. Just your agency, the volunteer program coordinator. Who's going to manage this program in your agency? Who's going to handle the asks? Who's going to handle the claims? Who is that program coordinator going to be? So the contact person, their title, their phone number, their fax. Description of volunteer duties. We need to be pretty specific there. Are they going to be driving vehicles? Are they going to be filing for you? Whatever it is, that information needs to be there. If you need more room, if you have a lot of different types of volunteers, get an extra sheet of paper. Because that only helps the insurance company provide you with better coverage, maybe better rates. The more information you can provide to an insurance company, the better everybody is, all the way around. So, so whatever the volunteer duties are, so tours, hiking, guides, campground hosts, whatever it may be, volunteer. So then we're going to go down to the next spot. This is where we've got your number of volunteers and the renewal rates per volunteer. Keep in mind, these are last year's rates. So lock in now if you want to. May or may not be going up during the renewal. I'm not quite sure, but currently those are the rates. So I just wanted you to know that those are the rates until June, subject to change at that point. Number of volunteers, provide estimates. Well, how do you provide an estimate? How do you determine how many volunteers you have?
You don't know the data, but otherwise, I guess. So do you pay a difference at the end of the year if you're off?
Your volunteers?
Like on student health insurance, we give you an estimate, and then at the end of the year, if we find out we have 50 more,
50 more
malpractice, medicals, we pay the difference. Because
Huh.
you don't know your estimates until you get your actuals after your semester.
Well, the best way to do it is just to think of your largest date that you need, your largest event that you need, the largest number of volunteers you'll have on any given day. But they're gonna And within that proposal is the client authorization to bind form. And, you know, there's no obligation for this. We're all about giving you guys information to make wise choices. And so if you want it, sign it and send it back to us and we'll get you bound. If you don't want it, if you could just decline it, let me know. You know what, I took it to my ED, or I took it to my board, that we did the cost benefit analysis. It's not working for us right now. Just tell me you're not interested and send that back to me. Because I follow up on these things and I'll hound you until you tell me no. Not for any other reason except I know, so I've got one policy right now one proposal that I've sent, and they're really, the risk manager is completely on board. They want to do insurance. But their ED changed, and then their executive board, something happened there, and you just can't get the right audience. So I know it takes a while, but I'll follow up every, a couple of months, every 6 weeks or something. Hey, are you still interested? And you can tell me to pound sand, and that's fine. You send me back your decline. I'll put it in your file, we'll close it up, and we'll put it away. And we'll know that you're not interested. We won't call you back again. But so send you back your authorization. Alliance can provide the invoice and purchase order number, so you guys can pay through the USAS or however you guys want to pay it. And then once they're bound, you guys get a certificate of insurance. They'll provide your proof of purchase, proof that you have insurance. So if something happens before your policy comes, you're fine, you're covered, you've got coverage. And then your policy arrives a couple of months later. So those are how to obtain a quote. Do you guys have a question about quotes? Okay. So let's talk about the reporting requirements. We've talked about it all day, touching base with this. Talked about volunteer program coordinator. The agency is required to report their volunteers' activities on an annual basis. So when we first got this policy at the beginning of this year, the STAR asked us, what hours did they work, the volunteers? How many hours did they work a year? We didn't have that data to provide to them. And that made it very difficult for them to price the coverage. So then that's when we started talking about the rosters. We set the rosters to everybody and asked everybody who had the insurance to keep track on this roster. It's important for your risk management team to know who is where and when. It's important to the insurance company, if there is an incident reported, to know right away if that volunteer was on duty. Because people do, Hank, he hurt his back, but he wasn't really at work, but he's such a good guy, he comes all the way, he could have done it. Well, no, they're gonna pull the roster, and they're gonna want to see that Hank was really there at work doing what he said he was doing at those times. The insurance company can pull these at any time. It's within their rights or whatever. That hasn't come up. But for your own risk management group, I would keep track of this. So it's very simple. When they come in and out, the state agency, first and last name of the volunteer, their phone number, whatever ID code or number you use internally to track the volunteer, the date they work, the time and then the time out.
For every instance of volunteering?
Every time they come to your agency, they need to be filling these out. Because how is the insurance company going to know that they were injured at work? Gotta have this is a reporting requirement. Yes, ma'am. But if you've got, as Sam said, if you've got your team set up, your volunteer team, you should have, the supervisor can keep track of this.
So a roster of who's supposed to be there that day, and then just cross it off the ones that don't count, didn't show, isn't enough?
That's as long as you've got
Some piece of paper.
with their dates worked and their time in and out. Yes, sir.
Is this roster on the website?
It is, and like Harry said, you can, as long as this information is on there, if you're doing something internally already similar, that's totally fine. I'm not gonna make you conform. I'm sorry, was there another question? Yes, ma'am.
We have that. We don't have it at state headquarters because we don't have volunteers at state headquarters, but we have them at the site across the state. When then the volunteer coordinator at each site does their data entry, they're not necessarily, they might do it by the month. So volunteer,
They have it on their.
they have it on their
paper
sign-in sheets,
here.
but I don't have access to that hard copy
You can, they can.
immediately.
Wow, yeah, but that's okay.
I could get it if
Yes,
I need it.
As long as you've got record, that's perfectly okay. We don't want to make this hard.
So can you back up on the reporting requirements? The dates worked and the hours worked, those are total for a year? Or is that roster that you're asking for?
Well,
It's that,
it's this.
okay. And that's an annual thing? I've never, didn't know anything
No,
about
we
this.
don't send that out. The insurance company asks us at the end of the year, how many hours did all the volunteers work? Or how many volunteers do they have at each site? This is just that we can, hey, send you an email. How many volunteers did you have? How many hours did they work this year? And you'll have that data.
And the reporting requirements that you're talking about, is this new or has this been always since 2005?
Since 2005. The only addition has been the hours, which has been added on since Joanne has taken over.
Okay.
There was an ID code?
It's just an internal code, whatever you guys use to track the volunteers.
So you're actually needing us to send you the numbers?
No. They ask for it.
Okay, so it's just.
They're going to ask for it when we renew. We're getting ready to renew in July,
Okay,
June, and we're going to ask for that information.
okay.
How many volunteers did you have this year? How many hours did they work?
And it will be that same application that you filled out every year where you're writing down the number of volunteers per line. The only difference will be the addition of how many hours did the volunteers work on that application.
So back to, the enterprise risk management type of tracking. But right now, the main reason this is so important is that there is an event. They want to make sure that that's reported properly. Yes, sir.
So, I'm on workers' comp right now. The only reason they know that is my Outlook calendar. Because I show travel to Austin, meetings in Austin, travel back.
Who they?
So we could set up an open blanket Outlook for all the supervisors, to throw all the volunteers in. Which would be crazy because, maybe volunteers from 10 to 11, 1 to 3 different groups. They would have these blocks just showing the amounts that then Outlook could track for you. Because I understand what you're saying. If the person's ever hurt or in an accident, you sort of have to prove that, yes, they were volunteering for you. And in the past, for us, Outlook has been sufficient as a tracking device.
And we've got this information.
Right.
It doesn't matter what.
In other words, the person's name and the date and the times.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Outlook would work if you want to do so.
Can you go back to the previous one? Sure.
Dates for hours worked, so.
Just these last two columns, the date they worked, the timing. So I'm gonna go in and I've got all your guys on Friday come in and they sign. I mean, it's different for every, I mean, Harry's got a huge number of volunteers.
So do we, so my question is, where it has dates worked, and if I'm giving you an annual report, how do you want that?
Just think on how to make copies of the reports.
No. I think what you might be referring to is when a volunteer comes and works for you on a daily basis or a week or however long you need them for, you're asking them to sign in or at least let you know that they've turned up somehow. The reason that we want to have the date worked on that is because if they have a claim, the insurance claim department may ask you for proof that they were working on that day during those hours and so forth. What we need for what Jackie's talking about is your application process. We're getting ready to start the new renewal from the information that you gathered every day when a volunteer came in. Tell us how many hours they worked last year. Tell us how many volunteers you want to be insured for this next policy. The insurance company is trying to see how much exposure, the time, the length of exposure that they might have for your particular agency. So it's one tool which you're using on a daily basis, which you can then use the information from that to put into the application coming to you.
And that could be a total.
So an application, okay, it's
Just a total. It's going to say how many hours did they work for a year. You would then have that information from when they came in daily, weekly, and you would calculate that hour and put it into your application.
So the next slide is only needed in case something happens.
I'm sorry, Annette. I didn't mean to confuse the issue. All I was talking about for this particular moment is your daily roster sheet right here that tracks your daily folks. And you can do it with this form, you can do it how Harry does it, however you have it internally, as long as it has this information. Right. And then if you have however you're going to, I'm thinking a smaller agency, and I know you come from a huge agency, they keep these rosters. At the end of the year, we say, hey, we're going to renew. How many people did you have? How many folks did you have, and how many hours did they work? And they'll say we had 50 volunteers, and they worked 40 hours a week. Terrific. You're a little bit different. You might not use these rosters. You may enter this information somewhere, and it compiles it. So at the end of the year, we can say we had 5,500, and they worked an average of 20 hours. But these are two different things.
okay.
This is a daily roster. Just if somebody's injured, the insurance company can say, well, was Bob working that day? Yes, he was working that day. He was lifting a box and he got hurt. Yes, sir. Okay. And yes, sir.
So, I mean, the application is going to show max state 50, but in the end, volunteer roster is going to show 800, and that's okay.
Yep.
Okay.
That's okay. We're talking more about the hours that were collected that you would be gathering from this, as opposed to the number of volunteers you just, on the application, it's the maximum number per one day.
Right.
Here you're going to have, who knows, 10,000, whatever it might be, but it's not 10,000 all in one day.
And if they're going on a 3-day overnight thing, is that 24 hours or just 8 hours a day?
You can probably put your day range down
Yeah,
Okay.
for a volunteer.
that's what I would do. Because it's going to be a group, just not one, that group. They all left on the 23rd, came back on the 25th, and, just right on top, overnight camping trip or whatever. It's just they want the information in case there's an incident. Yes, ma'am.
Joseph, can we come up with more specific questions after the fact? Can we email you or call you? and just give a whole big list of questions?
That brings me to my next slide. And absolutely, you can call me,
Okay.
or send me an email, or take a look on the website. We want to be a resource. And if I'm not there, Sally does property and D&O, but she'll pick up my line. You can ask her. If she knows the answer, she'll help you. If she doesn't, she'll let me know. And then Michelle's always available. So she's always. Yeah, exactly. So that brings us to the end of our presentation.
So can we ask some questions on the existing policies?
Yes.
Like, the D&O does cover volunteers, right? In the past, it always has 20-some years.
For decisions made on behalf of the agency as working
For
as a
you.
volunteer.
Right, okay. And then also, state-owned automotive, which in the past, we were told volunteers shouldn't be driving state vehicles. But in the event they were, that would still cover under a motor.
They are now covered under our automobile program. If they are a volunteer, we had that included as a driver.
Okay. So really, we ought to be giving them a state vehicle.
If you have them on the automobile program, what's happening with some of their other agencies is they do not purchase automobile insurance coverage.
Okay.
So then they have that exposure if the volunteer drives it, and we prefer them not to drive the vehicles.
Okay.
If that's the case.
And then in the last one, in 20-some years, I've had 3 volunteers that got injured, and they were covered on our state workers' comp because volunteers are covered on workers' comp as long as they're signed in.
No, Gordon's not here, but
Oh.
Gordon told me that, I don't believe that is correct. But I
Well, the
don't
one I
know.
had last year where the student by accident threw a shovel to the volunteer and missed and cut their foot open, workers' comp paid that.
Okay.
So is that a policy change by?
No, this one doesn't have a comp policy, but I think every claim needs to be looked at independently, and
Okay.
without our expert workers' comp person here, it's
Yeah,
tough for
I
us to
can't
answer
answer,
that.
I'm sorry, but I'll definitely get back.
Okay.
And before you guys all go, there's a couple of really quick things. If you're gonna be here tomorrow for thank you. And if you would take your badges off and leave them on the table on the way out, that way you don't have to remember to bring them back tomorrow, that would be great. And also, I don't know if you guys are aware, I'm gonna talk about this tomorrow in the auto, Austin has gone hands-free devices, no cell phones up to the head. I think you've got a grace period, but I wanted to let people coming in from out of town know that no phones or no GPS in your hand. So, yeah.
Oh, really? No
Yes.
GPS?
If it's mounted, I guess it's okay for you to look.
You put on makeup.
Yeah. I'm sick of it in the morning.
But I don't know how to call now.